September 25th, 2025. How's it going, guys? Well, I've got another video for you, and it's a doozy. What are we going to talk about? Kansas City, Independence, Missouri. We're going to talk about crime and drugs and the homeless. We're going to talk about coercion and extortion today. And this is going to even go all the way back to when the pandemic was going, and how over in my area a lot of houses got bought up. Now, I want to read the definition of coercion. Now, hold on. Okay, guys. Now it says I'll get my phone here. Keep going upside down. A mission of coercion refers to a strategic use of threatened force, remember, intimidation, or other tactics to compel an adversary to act the way it otherwise would not, and like strategies that aim to outright destroy an enemy. The primary goal of coercion is to achieve compliance by influence the target's decision making. Now, since this pandemic took place, I've had probably 100 people, at least 100 people approach on my property. And that is just unbelievable. But we're going to start here with a group up the street that moved in. This guy supposedly has a business, a cleaning business, but they go out to houses that are bought. And they take all the trash out, do different things, stuff like that. But they also had stuff against them. Now, when I was out there at the courthouse, there was, they already had, from where they had lived before, some problems. And when these people moved out here in this area, there was a lot of activity. There was a lot of people going in and out of this house late at night even women late at night, 1 o'clock in the a.m. in the morning. And it didn't look good. I mean, there's prostitution. There's drugs over here in this area, heavy. And Independence is like, the South Side halfway didn't even exist at that time period. But I'm going to show you guys, which I want you guys to look at this. Now, this guy I'm going to show is living in a house next door to this, what we call the God's house, which some ways attached to this church down on Chrysler, I guess. But you talk about intimidation and try to intimidate people. I've been out here for 58 years. I'm not going anywhere. And last week, I had, supposedly it was supposed to be an Independence employee that was supposed to come out. The owner wanted to actually see if to rent this house out. Well, I am the owner, and I sure ain't renting this house out. So what did I do? I went out and I talked to the city. I talked to a new lady. There's a lady by the name of Jill Dotson. She tells me that they go through a third party. Well, isn't that nice? You know what third parties are used for? If you don't want liability coming back on you, you get another party to take that responsibility so they can be the fall guy. When I worked for a place down, basically it was called Citywide Chemical. They had washers, windshield, or I shouldn't say, what am I looking to say, glass washers that went out and cleaned those big buildings downtown. Well, they had hired some Latins in, and they hadn't trained them. They got up on a scaffolding. They did not have any, belts on or anything, any safety devices. So if they did fall off, and they did fall off and die. So then after that, guess what? They started contracting anybody out that wanted their windows cleaned at any of these buildings through a third party. Well, where I go with this is, out here in Independence, they contract out, this lady told me, to 7 individuals. Now, I don't know who their supervisor is, but she was supposed to contact me, which I haven't heard back yet, or email me, to find out if this lady was legit, actually working for the City of Independence or not. And that's what I wanted to find out, to see if this lady that come up, now she drove up on my property. Now Independence vehicles, most of the time they pull to the edge of the drive. They will pull in your drive if they're looking for code violations, but they also usually have a badge. They usually have an Independence vehicle. Now this third party group, guess what? They don't have vehicles of Independence. So isn't that interesting? But I just wanted to see. So I this is what's taken me so long. This is why I haven't had some of my videos up from the zoo, because I've been dealing from last week, because I wanted to see, because I had 3 people approach on my property, and one of these people claimed to be with the City of Independence. When the lady looked, this I will say again, Jill Dotson, she couldn't find anything, which is even more interesting, because I wanted her to follow up on it and see if this actually, but she told me that they usually don't communicate much. Well, God, they got a third party and they don't communicate much? Man, then why do you even need a third party then? That's kind of weird. So we're going to show some things here today, and it's going to be a little bit in depth here. And we're going to show these people that moved in up the street. Like I say, they've bought some other houses up across the way. And some of these guys, see, it worked for these places. See, I work for Citywide Chemical. I had 7 supervisors that I dealt with, and they had multiple men, probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 guys underneath them that went out and cleaned all over the city. But some were ex-cons, and some had, been rehabilitated, but then some that tried to come in there and get hired in, they had records, and some of them even had warrants for their arrest, believe it or not. Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff. So I think about this, and I think about these guys and these homeless that this guy's working, and I don't know, not good. But like I say, this deal about last week, it was just like another deal to, like, see if I'm not selling my house. My house is paid for. And I talked to the City of Independence, so I want everybody out there to know it's paid for. I am the owner, and I don't want anybody on my property. Now, police, city can come on your property. You have a 15-foot, actually, like, easement up to your property from the front of the street even. And there's an easement in between the property lines that people don't get either. So let's take a look at this first. And this was almost when they first moved out. But what I was going to say, this guy, he lived out at Walmart. He lived out at Bass Pro. He goes out to Bass Pro. There's a van that sits out there at the edge at Waterfall Park. And what are they doing? They get together, and what are they moving? Stolen goods, drugs. This guy, just 2 days ago, I seen again up here at the old Hardee's. It's a vacant lot. Well, isn't that something? But don't forget now, like I say, we're going to take a look at this. All right, guys. So this is way far back. And this is Coercion. Because here comes these 2 black guys and this one white guy. And the white guy's the one, like I say, it has the pickup truck. It had the trailer. Now he's got a trailer that he tows behind, but then he had a pop-up like on his truck. We're going to show that. This guy here is the one that's got that house over there. And like I say, when they first moved, man, there was vehicles moving in and out, people going in and out. Not as much anymore. There's still cars go in and out. But there was women that was walking up to that house at 1 a.m. in the morning. And I got even footage on that. Now, wonder what homeless women walking up at 1 a.m. in the morning's doing. But anyway, they come down here. They tried to stop us in the middle of the street. Now, don't you think this is coercion? Or is it extortion? Or is it a little bit of both? Some states look at that as a felony. A felony. Anything that's to intimidate. So, now hold on. Okay, guys, so my dash cam caught this. That's my son's vehicle. He's going to go around this guy. This guy is lucky that I was in a good mood that day because I don't take kindly. Like I say, I've lived out here my entire life. I was born out here. None of these things that are crawling around out here were born out here. I'll guarantee you that. But let's take a look at this. Look at that. Let me freeze that for a minute. Let's get a good look at this guy. Well, that's the guy who drives that truck. Now, later on during this deal, supposedly he had a gal with him, kids. I was wondering, I did several videos on this guy because he was living out of Walmart parking lot. He was living at Bass Pro. He was out on the edge of out here at a waterfall park off Lee Summit, and they still move something out there. I wonder what that is. And he hangs up here in the vacant parking lot, but he's hanging at this house next door to this God's house. Now, what's really interesting, this God's house has a legal something paper look like stuck in the window. And I don't know if it was acquired. That's what I talked to the city about. I asked him, I said, well, I don't know if you guys have acquired that on like back taxes or something, or if it was condemned or something else. But this guy's been living out there on that, over there right next door to this. Now, all this ties together with the drugs and the prostitution and everything else. But wouldn't you call this a coercion? I mean, I would. I mean, I think a judge, if they looked at this, let's see if I can. I mean, look at this. He even lunged at my son's vehicle. Look at that. And then what's really weird, I'm going to freeze this for a second. What's really weird about this is, too, when I'm going on up, the two other black guys, because I didn't know who was actually the or renting it, whatever, owning it, whatever it is up there. This guy said, well, we might have some problem. And I thought, well, why would he have problems? Well, you might have problems if somebody didn't want drugs going up and down the street all night, or stolen goods or something else. Well, that's interesting, ain't it? Well, I got lots and lots of videos like this where they're coming at me, different people, different over here. And these are the left side. This is the left. These are the radicals. These are the ones that are not all firing on everything. But I wanted to show that because, like I say, I'm still waiting on that deal out there. Now, I wanted to show I wanted to make sure everything was on the up and up out there at City Independence, and I checked that. But I wanted you guys to see this. Now, some morning, there's some bikers that go down there by the tool shed, and I used to go down by Doc Holliday's, and those places, man, they bring in drugs, they bring in guns at those places down there. There was one gentleman that come up from tool shed that shot basically an AK across the top of Doc Holliday's one morning. He was going to kill the manager down there, Jim. And Jim had another gun, and they were standing there basically having a face-off. Now, this is real interesting to think that they don't have nothing going on here in Independence or anything. But, like I say, I had 3 people came up on my property last week here. So we're going to show some of this. And, this needs to be shown because these are the radicals. These are the left. Not good. All right, guys. So early this morning, it's 8:44. This is probably around, I'd say about 7:30 to 8 o'clock. This biker, I just pulled back in, and he was revving down the street, man. He was revving that baby up, revving it. Well, they come, because they want this area. They want this area. They want to be able to move those drugs. They want to be, maybe, like I say, I think somebody else maybe a little bit higher needs to look over here in Independence if Independence can't police this over here. I mean, maybe Homeland Security might even be a good one to go with. I think FBI, Homeland Security. I know the FBI did, like I say, busted a lot of the bikers that were bringing guns in down there by Coolcrest, across from Coolcrest. They shut them down. Yeah, I got that shut down pretty quick. But I got this volume down on this, but I want to show you this guy gave me the finger this morning. It's okay. I waved back at him. I got this in slow-mo so you can see. Give him the finger. There we go. Wait a minute. No, let me go back. It's kind of hard to hold my... I'll do this one more time. I'll try to pan this so you guys can see this here. There he went, right there. That's when he gave me the finger. Let's see, hold on. Right there. I don't know if you can see it. He moved his arm and off the handlebar and he gave me the finger right there. Well, that's nice of him, ain't it? Just another good one here. Wants to see all that drugs coming in here and fentanyl and meth and everything else, I'm sure. Not good, guys. So hold on. So we're going to take a little quick peek here. It's something that happened kind of between the weekend and today here on Thursday. And this was up at 7-Eleven. Now, I wanted to show this. This is interesting. There's a vehicle that's going to pull up here. Now, this is notorious for them dealing drugs here by this mailbox. And there's a person that gets a backpack out, pulls up, gets backpack out, pulls backpack in, and then just sits there. Never does nothing. Wasn't getting no mail out. Well, I want you guys to watch this. But these are drop points. These are still drop points. The bikers use them. And, you know, maybe I wonder if I could get a job for the government here. This would be good. Did you see that, guys? Watch, this door's going to close. I just, they're going to sit there. And then they're just going to wait. Now, I pull away, but I know what comes next because I've seen this before. They, another car will pull up. They'll exchange the stuff, and it goes on. Now, what's really interesting, let's see if I can find this other deal. I was on down going down Chrysler, and there was two black gentlemen in a vehicle, too, that looked like they were almost like trying to stage a... if you wanted to try to rob somebody, like you was having car trouble. And I want to show that too if I can find it. Now, let me see. I don't know. Hold on. Okay, guys. So this was over the weekend. And, interesting. I just heard a gunshot right now outside. Well, it's Independence. So, let's see here. We're going to, I want you guys to see this. Now, the first thing I notice when I get up here, and I'm going through here, I notice this vehicle, but I notice there's a black gentleman about 150, maybe 200 feet in front of this vehicle. That's what I caught my eye at first. I didn't realize till I went back here that there was another black gentleman running back behind it off to the side like he was jogging. But this car, it turns, it gets in the main lane. There it is right there. And then it's going to go to the center lane and cock sideways, like it was going to try to almost like stop somebody. Now, I actually stopped in the middle of the road for about 20 seconds because I thought, well, what is this? There's a black gentleman here. This vehicle now has this part, both lanes blocked. It didn't look like it wasn't having car trouble or nothing. And then we get another guy running, another black gentleman here. And it looked like he almost like he had like a gun in his pocket there too. And I thought, well, man, this would be good, some way to rob somebody. He had some kind of clip, almost looked like a holster that was off to one side. So I'm going to show that. Let's take a look at this. Now, this is Independence this weekend, just this weekend. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over. So here's this guy. And it looks like, well, they wouldn't know one another. But they all knew one another. And what's really weird, I had my black friend take a look at this. And he agreed with me, too, that this looked like they were setting somebody up to try to rob somebody here. So you want to be aware of this too, because this just was not good. So let's just go on with this. I want to show this real quick. So there's a guy there. Let me get it if I can see. I don't know if you can see that on his. Probably not. Let me see if I can get this to come in a little bit clearer. There you go. And you see where right here. Okay. And he had like I say. But let's go on down here. I want you to see the other gentleman. And let's watch this. Okay, now it pulls off. When I stopped the car, is when it pulled over to plate into the center. Okay, because it's like, man, this just looks like, if you were going to rob somebody. That ain't going to work. So let's just, what did I do here, guys? Hold on just a second. All right, so let's get on with this. I bumped the deal. I want you to see this other guy. And this is the other black guy. Now, what's really strange is after we pass this vehicle, I'm going to back this up just a hair. As soon as we get past this vehicle, this guy in the orange starts running over to this vehicle. It gets in the passenger side. And I thought, man, I mean, this just looked like something that, if you were trying to rob somebody. Now, I thought, well, then I tried to think of any other kind of scenario here. I mean, could there have been somebody like they were teaching to drive? But if you was teaching somebody to drive, you wouldn't be out of the vehicle. So it's like, man, this is just weird. This was weird. And like I say, my friend, he looked at this too, and he thought, man, there's just something not right here. And there's the other guy right there. And he ran over to the vehicle, talked to the person, then jumped into the passenger side. That's pretty funky. I don't know. That was weird. But just another thing here in Independence, like I say, Chrysler here is up here by 40 Highway and those Chrysler apartments and stuff. Really bad for weird stuff. And not good stuff. A lot of drug stuff. But I don't know. But all these three people were together. They all knew one another. All knew one another. The other guy, he went over there too, but he didn't get in. So hold on. And this great Sinclair. Now, you wouldn't think this is what, about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile away from me, that all this would trickle back 3/4 of a mile away from your house, but it does. Because a lot of the ones going up the street, some of them are homeless, some of them are dealing drugs, end up here. And it seems like whoever owns this Sinclair here really don't care if they're all over or not. I contacted Kansas City, Missouri, because I thought this was Kansas City, Missouri, because the Blue Ridge Mall used to be up there at one time. But it's actually not. It's in the Independence area to watch. And they had a couch up here by the trash can and chairs for all these homes. And there's a massive amount of them going in and out of this place here. But what I noticed, this was over the weekend too. Let me see. There was one. Now, back here, there's a guy that's passed out right here. I don't know if you can see his head. His eyes were closed. He was passed out. They had a couch that was over here and a whole bunch of chairs and stuff. And this thing is just, it's a, I don't know. Oops, I'm too far. I'll get this in there a little better than that. But not good. It's not good at all. And hold on, guys. All right, guys. And this thing here, oh man, this Ultimate Game Parlor, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You got your massage there too. You know, I hope the city's coming out here checking these places at least once a month, especially the health department on this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff. But it's another left deal here, because this is drawing drugs and prostitution and everything else. And this, I'm going to show you how they kind of group up here too. I mean, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Here's one here bicycling. But let's just see where all they're grouped up at here. Let's see. See, I can prove this. So here we go. What's that look like? So we got them riding around the Sinclair out there in the parking lot part there. Well, like I said, they sleep over by the trash can stuff. They like all that. Look at this guy. Yeah, no shirt on. I don't know what this guy's doing here. But they'll get a whole slew of them. I got one where it shows like, I think it's about 8 or 9 of them. There's gals, guys, and they're just all mixed in all over here. It's just unbelievable, guys. And this is bringing a lot of this stuff. But if these people either they don't get help from the city because they don't get into a shelter somewhere, or they don't want help. Now, if they don't want help and they're out there stealing and doing drugs, then they need to go to jail. You know, clean this stuff up because it's not getting done. Check it out, guys. It's a Chinook. Wanted to get that in. I could hear it across it going over by the house here. All right, let's get back to this. It's always something. Never a dull moment. It's never quiet here either. It's just, that's the way it is. But anyway, wanted to show that real quick. That's insane. That is insane. Check this out real quick. This guy. I even went to school with this guy. He was shooting arrows off his roof. And it actually come over and hit my shed in my backyard. This is kind of people. They're witchcraft over there, though, back behind me. But there's a lot of, like I say, left, other different things going on you wouldn't believe. There they were on their roof. This is what crawls out in front of my house a lot, and they leave other things. This ain't in front. This is right next door to me. Other crazy stuff. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up. And I got about a minute left here, so what do you think? Drugs, coercion, everything. And it all goes back to this left side that are kind of like not all there, firing on all cylinders. And I'm still waiting from this Jill Dotson in Independence. We'll see if I get any replies. Anyway, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there.